A Splashguard is a device that is used to help prevent the spray that typically comes from using a pad on a single disc machine, prevent that spray from flowing onto the walls. Because that spray sometimes is made up of like harsh chemicals like stripper, sometimes it's just detergent, but even so, it just means it's more work. So what a Splashguard does is help you prevent that spray, and therefore less time spent in prepping the walls around you and less time spent in cleaning up after yourself. You know, the traditional way would be you're using some kind of tape or polyethylene sheets in order to line the wall so that when you are actually working, the stripper can be quite corrosive. And so you really have to protect any kind of furniture or wall surface before you use that stripper. So you'd have to put, you know, 1 foot or 2 foot of polyethylene sheeting pretty much everywhere around you when you're stripping. And what the Splashguard does is it means you can do a lot less prep. You may still want to protect some of the more critical pieces of furniture around you, but for the most part, you can do your work and then just go back and wipe it down for the slight spray that you might find. But the Splashguard prevents a whole bunch of that spray from going onto the wall. Every Centaur floor machine comes with an integrated Splashguard, which means you have a Splashguard with you wherever you go as long as you've got the Centaur machine. And it's a unique feature to Centaur. In order to actually use the Splashguard, after you have attached your drive block and your pad, what you do is at the base of the machine there are 3 black knobs. By undoing those knobs, the Splashguard drops right over your drive block and pad so that when you are actually using it, any of the chemicals and the mixture of dirt, water, detergent, whatever it is that's being sprayed is contained by that Splashguard. And that's how the Splashguard works. So very easy to deploy. 3 knobs, base of the machine, undo them, it drops right over and you're good to go. Well, in addition to the primary benefit, which is less time spent in prepping and cleanup afterwards, there are 2 other primary benefits. One is safety. Because the cord, the electrical cord, the power cord that supplies the machine sometimes can come in the way, the Splashguard, because it's right on the floor, prevents that cord from getting swept up into the drive block and thereby causing injury or damage. So that's it's a nice safety feature to have. And the second big benefit is one of protecting the walls and furniture around you, because as you're stripping, you come close to those spaces, and sometimes you could hit them if you're not being careful. But having the Splashguard in place provides us with a bit of a bumper. This is where Centaur innovation comes in. So in order to downsize, we actually have to take off the Splashguard that we're talking about and make the machine smaller. So after we have now attached our 13-inch drive block and pad, what we do is we use a flexible Splashguard that's made from a high-quality rubber and industrial strength clamps, and you put it around the machine, and that acts as your Splashguard and is just as effective as the rigid Splashguard.